You just can't make this up. Can you sue for dieting? A man tells police he was lightheaded because he was on that Whole30 diet when he caused a deadly crash. Well, the victim's family is now suing. Is that diet responsible? What do you think about this? A man blamed lightheadedness on the Whole30 diet after he hit and killed a woman in a parking lot. And now in the hot seat, he is being sued by the victim's family. Here's what happened according to the lawsuit. About a year and a half ago, a man was driving in a parking lot of a grocery store and he apparently lost control of his truck. He hit and killed a 68-year-old woman. Her family's lawsuit claims the man shouldn't have been driving because he was on the Whole30 diet. According to the police report, the driver was feeling nauseous and lightheaded because he'd skipped breakfast and lunch. Now the family is saying that makes him liable for her death to the tune of $3.6 million, according to reports. So I want to talk about this one with HLN legal analyst Joey Jackson, also Dr. Daria, author of Mom Hacks. Thank you so much for being with us. First of all, Joey, does this have any legs? Because I should point out the Whole30 diet, if you go on their website, doesn't say anything about skipping breakfast and lunch.
Yeah, you know, interesting lawsuit. Now, just to be clear, in looking at the lawsuit, very short, it's 4 pages, it really puts the onus on him. So when it comes time to court and it comes time to litigate the case, the issue is going to center around, was he negligent? Was he operating the car with the proper standard of care? Was he operating the car reasonably? The motivation for it, or what he had for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, is not going to be entirely relevant as it relates to the issue of negligence. So that's all that has to be shown. Now, in the event, for example, Lynn, that the Whole30 diet and the company were brought into the lawsuit, I don't think it would have a leg to stand on. I mean, you know, whatever diet you might be on, that's up to you. What you do being on the diet is, you know, up to you as well. So now if somebody's working out at the gym and they fall on the treadmill, oh, it's the 30 diet. Now if somebody's walking down the stairs and they fall down the stairs, it was the 30, you know. So you can't do it that way. And so I think it's an interesting twist to things, but at the end of the day, the fault and responsibility lies with the motor vehicle operator, not with what they're eating, not eating for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Well, Dr. Daria, I mean, is it possible to become so lightheaded from something like that to pass out?
That is a good question, but people fast for 2 to 3 days at a time and they don't pass out. Right. So while you may feel not so great, our body has a lot of mechanisms to keep our blood sugar even. But what I tell all my patients, nobody knows your body like you. So if you feel a certain way, don't put yourself in a situation where you could put yourself or someone else in harm's way.
And real quick, as I pointed out, Whole30 does not encourage you to skip meals. Actually, break down what this diet says.
So a lot of the things that people can eliminate on the Whole30 are good. They're eliminating sugar and a lot of processed foods, but they're eliminating a lot of other things, necessarily legumes and grains. I don't always think you have to. Bottom line, you don't have to punish your body to lose weight. You don't have to skip multiple meals. And the Whole30 diet doesn't say to do that. You don't have to eliminate whole food groups. It's not necessary. It's not optimal. It's not even healthy.
So he wasn't even really following this diet. But Joey, to your point, it's not really about whether he followed the diet. It's about whether or not he's personally responsible. And it sounds like you kind of think they may have a case here. $3.6 million. Let's talk about the precedent that could be set.
Yeah, you know, interestingly enough, Lynn, it's just going to focus to that point on what he was doing in that car at that time. Was he driving responsibly or was he not? Obviously, he wasn't, based upon what he did and then running her completely over. And so in the event that his lawyers, for example, try to escape liability by saying, hey, it's Whole30's responsibility, I think it would be an action that would be quickly dismissed as to him not being accountable. The operator is accountable, and diets can encourage us to do certain things. They can recommend we do certain things. What we do while we're on that diet, the actions we take, who we speak to, where we travel, whether we drive, are we on a bicycle, that's up to us, and the law recognizes that.
Dr. Daria, do you think that this shines a light on extreme dieting and how possibly dangerous it could be? I mean, I know in your book, Mom Hacks, you talk about the Restore diet. You talk about restricted eating and certain time frames and things like that. Is it dangerous?
I think eliminating certain food groups, skipping entire meals, it could be dangerous, and it's entirely unnecessary. What I tell people, eliminate some processed foods. Don't eat after 9 p.m. Don't torture your body just to try to lose weight, because it's not even sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, Joey, when we look at legally whether or not this man is responsible, do you think that the price tag here seems a little high, $3.6 million? Where do you get a number like that?
Yeah, I think you pull it out of thin air. I mean, you know, they do teach you first day of law school, get as much as you can get from whomever you can get it, sue everybody, implead everybody in the lawsuit, but it has to make sense. And so remember that the check on this, Lynn, is a jury, where if it ultimately did go to a jury, they would make the determination as to what the monetary value would be. And in the event that your activities and who you harmed, you know, constitutes that amount, you'll get it. But if it's just a number out of thin cloth, you know, it's not something that'll be awarded by a jury.
I'm so interested to see how this shakes out, Dr. Daria. Joey Jackson, thank you so much. We do want to point out Dr. Daria's book, Mom Hacks, is out now. You do have that Restore Diet in the back, which is really interesting. But I do want to point out the simple truth here, folks. As I said, the legal precedent here is huge. I mean, I do intermittent fasting, and sometimes I have gotten lightheaded. So say I pass out, I can't do the show, I got fired, right? Could I sue because of lost wages? I mean, if you feel lightheaded on medication or a diet, isn't it up to you to decide if it's safe to drive your car or if it's safe to drive your kids to school? I mean, I make that decision if I've been drinking. I'm not going to drive. If I did, could I sue the maker of my Cabernet? Whatever happened to being accountable for our own decisions? That's the simple truth.